Hello, everybody. This is Mandy at Laugh and Crackle. We have our shadow today, so let's get started. Today's oracle card is Nurture and Beginnings. This card is about starting our healing process and the beginnings of self love. Just because we start on the journey doesn't mean that we're okay with the acknowledgement of what has happened in the past. Understanding our self love patterns, dealings with the emotional roller coaster of pain left over, accepting our involvement in said situation, if any, and forgiving ourselves, understanding that we are strong in order for us to even admit that there is something going on, and we're brave in order to reteach ourselves to accept everything about us, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Nurture and Beginnings is about how we show up for ourselves. You know, we're starting on our healing journey, and in the very beginnings of this, you got a whirlwind of stuff going on. You know, you're dealing with internal stuff, we're dealing with external stuff sometimes, and to sit there and understand that, you know, we've got to kind of work through this systematically. And, you know, we're going to have days where we're perfectly fine, you know, on the outside. Then we're going to have days where we completely lose it and we have absolutely no containment of our emotions at all, or even anger. And, you know, whenever you're dealing with that, you can, you know, you can be from okay to completely losing your shit. And whenever we sit there and we are dealing with all this, you know, just like, you know, our the bad side of dealing with this kind of stuff, we also have uh, our own self-love patterns. And, you know, we're still in the process of figuring that out in this particular moment. And, you know, we have to deal with, you know, seeing how we had an involvement within this situation and how we handled things. And sometimes that could be really, really sticky. Because, you know, most of us anyway, you know, we want to always blame someone else for this pain. Well, we also have to understand that we did have an involvement with it. And, you know, we have to make sure that we see those patterns that we've done in order not to repeat them. Now, we also have to understand that we need to own up to things, and we have to first be strong enough to admit something is wrong, And then, second of all, we've got to be brave enough to face those fears and to be brave enough to reteach ourselves to, you know, how we handle things. And whenever we sit there and we reteach ourselves like that, we accept everything about us. And that's the good, the bad, and the ugly. No matter how much we want to think, we're, just the prettiest things on the face of the planet, we all got an ugly side. Let's face that fact. And we have to be able to integrate all of those things within ourselves to bring that growth about. So we are going to be having our horror a little bit later on today, so come on back and see me.